Hey, good morning to you. Welcome back to Morning Live for the Sports Desk. My name is Vosiwe Ngcobo. As we always promise you, during the World Cup, we do bring you a 2022 Qatar World Cup special, and today is really one for the books. Now, being able to track the performance of a player is crucial in top-flight football, as this does inform the strategy for the coaching staff. The Sono family have combined with the company Playmakers to bring a device which is used by over 200 clubs, including teams like Liverpool, to track the performance and impact of players. All right, and we do say good morning to Good Morning Qatar joining us on SABC 1. Let's take a quick look before we start discussing with Mr. Jomo Sono, the one and only legendary. He's here with us in studio. Let's get a little bit more on this device before we talk to them. All right, we'll show you the device a little bit later. We are joined by Mr. Jomo Sono, the one and only legendary in studio, and he's next to him is Matsilele Jomo Sono Jr. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Sakina, can you see how reserved Jomo is now? It's like a different person compared to the man that walked in.
No, absolutely. But I mean, this is a South African and world royalty, the Black Prince himself. Yeah. And, you know, we talk about the greatest players in the world. And had South Africa been allowed to compete at that level, unfortunately, we were not because of our history. I have no doubt that when we were talking, like when we do now, about the greatest player, the GOATs, this man would have been there.
Indeed, the greatest of all time. Now, in addition to playing football on the field of play, having your own soccer team, there's something else that you've done alongside Matsilele. Tell us more about this device that you've created and what it intends to do.
Actually, as you know, that I'm renowned for unearthing a lot of youngsters from the dusty streets of all the black townships. And one of them will be appearing soon, who I discovered was 15 years old, and I took him all the way to England. When I met these guys overseas and I saw this device, I said, you know, it's unfortunate that some of us were born earlier. If we had a device like this during our time, I think we could have been equal to Pelé or even better. But everything comes after us. So this device helps a lot to groom players, to track the players. But I will give Mati to speak because, you know, I was born before technology. I don't want to make mistakes here, you know, so I will leave it to him to explain about this device.
Mati, let's bring you into the conversation. Explain this device to us and tell us what exactly it does and what makes it different from other tracking devices that we've seen in the past.
Like Dr. Sono himself said, you know, he's really big on unearthing development. This is a really good talent and ID scout. What this does, it's motion sense-based technology. It is a wearable football technology that goes on your boot. It is completely comfortable, that you do not feel. That is completely durable. It has a 5-hour recording time with a 3-hour charging time. So what it does is it takes the statistics and technical balances and data of all the players that use the device on the football pitch, so they can see how many times the player has passed the ball, how many times the player has received the ball, which foot the player is receiving the ball on, you know, and his sprint length, his kick velocity. So it really takes in all the data that your normal GPS tracking vest would not give you, in terms of it would just give you distance covered and where the player is on the pitch. But this actually gives you what the player is doing with and without the ball at all times.
It's amazing. What a device. I saw very quickly just a list of the teams that have already adopted this. So you've got quite a few teams. Talk us through them. Who's actually using this and monitoring this?
So literally, about a week ago, they just did a deal with FIFA. They got a FIFA accredited for training, and recently they just got it accredited for game time. We've done a big partnership with Manchester City, so they have their own device with City Play. So Manchester City are under Playmaker, like they did mention, as well as the Scottish FA, which is a big youth development and coaching course that I went through as well. So it is getting around the world. So Dr. Sono would just like to bring it to Africa to, to also increase our chances of further competing on the world stage, which he believes that this device can do, because this device can monitor your players on and off anywhere, on the pitch, off the pitch, wherever they train, indoor, outdoor. So I think for that, it just makes the workload just a bit more easier for someone to come say, look, this is what I've done for the week.
Yeah.
These are my statistics. This is my run distance. This is my pass average. My playing tempo, how many times I play one touch, how long I hold on to the ball. So, yeah, that's a basic summary of this device.
And the parents can also be coaches
Yeah.
of their own children.
With statistics this time.
Yes.
Because we're all coaches anyway.
I
With
know
a
you're
device
coaches.
that's going to help.
I've seen what's happening in the amateur football outside. The mothers fighting the other mothers.
Exactly.
That happens. But as a coach, I'm curious to understand. So how do you incorporate statistics into your coaching? Because, at what point does it become a hindrance? Could it become a hindrance where you are so focused on the statistics that perhaps you're not focusing on other aspects of the game?
Lovely, thank you for asking that. So how this helps the coach is that, like we just said, the difference between the GPS vest, it just covers distance. This actually shows what the player is doing on and off the ball. This also records gait analysis. So gait analysis is your injury prevention systems as to how long the player spends, how long each foot spends on the ground, to see if there are any discrepancies in his body, to see if he's striking the ball as hard as he was the day before. So I feel like it helps coaches in terms of injury prevention and in, helping the player grow as technically on the ball, to show that, to say that, no, look, this week your pass average was very low. We'd like you to work in terms of this, or your sprint speed has slowed down. Are you injured? We'd like you to get more passes and get on the ball more. So this really helps you just fine print all the finer details of the game. It's not really a hindrance in terms of you taking out the personal aspect. It's just adding an element that will help the player grow.
And as we talk about that, what has the reception been from a technical team and coaching point of view to the device in terms of how it's aided them?
So Dr. Sono has approached Sundowns.
I love how you always say Dr. Sono. So I need to correct myself because I said it's the one and only legendary Mr. Jomo Sono. So Dr. Sono, get released.
No problem. I'm also not used to it. Yes.
So it's something that happened this morning.
I'm used to Braje. It's happening this morning.
The legend is on his ID, don't worry.
He will get increased.
So yeah, I mean,
we have spoken to Mamelodi Sundowns. They've accepted this. We're just waiting for them to come and sign the agreement. We spoke to the 3 coaches, and they were very, very excited. And 2 of the players, the Sundowns, have been using this ever since we launched it in the country.
Which players?
Hi, Zwane.
Sheesh.
Tembazwane and Peter Shalulile.
You know what? If you had asked me, I would have said those 2 players. I don't know why, but maybe, I don't know. Those were the players I was thinking of, but yeah.
Yeah, they've been using it and very impressed with it. He's also been using it, and ever since he used it, it's improved. He's even scored now lately. So it's helping him a lot.
helps your performance too.
It's helping me a lot.
Obviously, you want this to get in, as soon as possible if you are going to correct certain things in a player's behavior and his technical ability. So, price point. I'm curious. How much is this device?
Don't look at me, but I'll talk. It's 3,500, and parents are paying 5,000 per month to keep their children at some of the soccer clubs in this country. 5,000 per month just to play and train football. I'd rather buy this as a parent. And then every time my son comes back, I'll take this, put in the computer, and look and say, let's work on this. This week we work on your speed, we work on your shooting, we work on your passing. You become a coach yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And that price is actually a lot less than what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
Because you looked at me in the face and said, hey, maybe this guy is going to say 20,000. No, I'm reasonable. I'm very
So
reasonable.
basically, our idea,
Troublemaker.
yeah, our idea is to get it out to Africa. You know, youth development leagues all over Africa. You know, so price is a very big talking point. There are strategies in place, obviously, to make it more affordable all over Africa, not just in South Africa, because we're obviously looking to develop the whole the continent as a whole. You know, so yeah, price range. There are strategies in place to make it very, very consumable friendly.
Listen, I think it's fantastic, but we need to get into news headlines, and then we're going to hopefully, after the headlines, speak about what happened yesterday.
Okay.
And we're also going to be joined by one of his students, Aaron Mokoena.
Oh, fantastic. So we can even talk more about that, and particularly those games where we saw a couple of thrashings and some surprise shocks. Japan. Here we go.